It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Black History Month celebrations here at Ramsey County. It's really an awesome day to be celebrating Black history. I should tell you who I am. My name is Allwood, and I am the very new Deputy County Manager for the Health and Wellness Service team. Just been on the job for a month, and it's been going great. And I'm very excited to be part of this celebration. I think this is one of those important things that we have to take time to recognize what our history is. And before I introduce my colleague, Miss Karen Francois, Miss Karen Francois, who will introduce the theme, I'd just like to make a couple of quick points. The first is that Black history is really deeply rooted in American history, and it's at the very foundation of American history. And it's more than a month, right? The other point I'd like to make is that we have to know our history, and as the great reggae artist and philosopher Bob Marley once said, when you know your history, then you know where you're coming from. Then you wouldn't have to ask me, who the heck do you think I am? So I'm going to leave it there and introduce Karen Francois, who is the Deputy County Manager for the Information and Public Records Service.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Allwood, for your introductory words. I'm really excited to be here with all of you, and thanks for all of you for coming out and in this weather. It's what I like to call frigid, sub-cold weather. So thank you for being here. I'm really happy to be here too to celebrate Ramsey County Black History Month with you. Our theme for today is Our Black Youth, Resistance and Resilience. So believe it or not, once upon a time, Dr. Allwood and I were Black youth. We're still very young, but once upon a time we were younger. Some time passed, and then poof, here we are as Deputy County Managers in Ramsey County. And I say poof, but I think everybody in this room knows that it's been a long time in coming for people who look like Dr. Allwood and I to be in positions of influence like these that we're in here in Ramsey County. I am the Deputy County Manager for Information and Public Records. And it is with pride and dedication and determination that Dr. Allwood and I are here to ensure that we are not the last in roles like these, and we accept the responsibility of being the first. As you might imagine, I didn't grow up dreaming that one day I would become a deputy county manager in Ramsey County. In fact, I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, and raised around the world because my father was a colonel in the Army. And I also didn't go to college to learn how to be a deputy county manager. And I say all that to say to you that any one of you here in this room, especially our young people, could one day be a deputy county manager here in Ramsey County, could be a director in one of our departments, and even go on to be one of our county managers. So all you have to do is continue to do the work that you do with excellence. And I'm really proud of the work that you do. I'm proud of the work that we do here in Ramsey County. I'm especially proud of the work that we do to advance racial equity in Ramsey County. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot more work to do, but we are working to ensure that people of color have equitable access to all of our resources and our opportunities for prosperity, for advancement, and for employment. So continue the work that you're doing here today. And now I'd like to introduce you to Arlene, who is with Health and Wellness, and she's going to come up and lead us in singing the Black National Anthem.
Good afternoon, thank you. I know some of you may not know the words, and please stand. We're not in church, but this is how we do it, right? So the words to lift every voice and sing is on the back of the program. And I am ready when you're ready. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day that hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat and not our weary feet come to a place on which our Father's side. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered, out from the gloomy past, till when we stand at last, where the white gleam of our star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us far, far on our way, thou who hast by might lead us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Bless our feet straight from the places, our God, where we met thee. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hands, may we forever stand. Peace to our God, peace to our lovely land.
Yeah, that was really awesome, and thank you so much for leading us. It was very well done indeed. Let's give ourselves another round of applause, please. This was deeply moving, deeply moving. So it's now my pleasure to introduce someone who's a giant in our community and also a leader of our agency here at Ramsey County, Commissioner Carter, who is going to bring us a few remarks.
Thank you very much. I am delighted to be here. I want to thank our Deputy County Managers, Paul Allwood and Karen Francois, for being here and for hosting this grand occasion. You know, I have to just note that these are two people who, since our last gathering, have joined with us here at Ramsey County as a part of our leadership, and who I truly appreciate for the example that they set and also for the deep work that they have joined in with together other managers, our county manager, other leaders in Ramsey County, and with all of you, our staff and our community, engaged in ensuring that Ramsey County moves forward for all of its people. So thank you again for allowing me to be here with you. I have enjoyed, learned from, and appreciated this presentation each year for the past 10 and counting that this celebration has been taking place. I hope, along with many of you who've also been able to join us here, I know I am going to particularly enjoy today. Again, this is an experience that has allowed us to gather the stories of many in our community, the stories that reflect not only their experience, but really that of people of color, and specifically African American people in the diaspora in Minnesota, here in Ramsey County, and in St. Paul. So I've got to give kudos and thanks to the committee that makes this happen. Each year, if you're here, you're on the committee, please raise your hand so we can just give you an early and big round of applause. Now, annually, we hear from people who have had experiences that enlighten us and that help us understand the struggles and the strengths, the sustainability, the successes of African American people in our environment. And today, we have dedicated the program to the experiences, the strengths, the successes, and the sustainability of our youth. So I am very delighted, first of all, to say thank you for allowing me to do this to the committee and to all of you, but I am just so delighted to introduce to you a premier voice of youth. These are young people. The organization is primarily led by young people of color whose voices illustrate to us that there is a deep and abiding strength within our young people that sustains them through struggle and that prepares a bright future for all of us. The voice that you're going to hear, or I should say, the voices that you are going to hear, are from an organization called Irreducible Grace, and that is a fact. Irreducible Grace. I want you to know that these young people are the leaders. As they share the voice with you, it is the voice that has not been scripted by someone else. It is the voice of their own deep lives. So they have worked together with us here in Ramsey County and throughout the community, throughout the state, and I know that they're doing work even that impacts our nation, to illustrate our impact on their lives and the impact that they have on all of ours. So these young people primarily speak from the voice of youth who have been engaged in our systems. Yes, even here in our systems in Ramsey County. Primarily out of foster care, but also coming from other systems. The child protection system, from our juvenile justice system, from our services in which we are engaged in large part, but also touching everything that we do to make lives better for residents in Ramsey County. So without further ado, let me please introduce to you, oh, no, I do have to say, that these young people have been brought together and are continually supported by two women that I admire greatly. And if you have not already been introduced to them or won't be, I want to make sure that you are. And that is Jan Mandell. Jan is right here. And I don't see Darlene yet. She's not here. But I want you to know that these are women who have dedicated their entire lives to building strength and sustainability and leadership among young people. And now those young people themselves to deliver to you their experiences and their impact on our lives. Irreducible grace.
I see there's a lot of seats up here, so feel free to come up here and get a front row seat of the show. You know, it's pretty empty up here. Y'all might want to move up.
Okay. So we typically like to start our workshops. We typically, can everybody hear me? Okay. We start our workshops with a performance telling you who we are. We do not like to say we were started in 2012 by Dr. We like to tell it through performance. So that's what we're going to open up with for you. So if you could give us a 3, 2, 1 action, that would be great.
3,
2, 1, action! Irreducible, energy levitates, no ceilings. Seek and understand healing for the mind, body, and soul. We need it, need it, need it. We're fostering voice. Growing up, that wasn't a choice. Give it back to the girls and the boys. One time for the youth, let's make some noise. Hey, 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 hey. Irreducible, irreducible grace. Breathe, 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 breathe. Irreducible, irreducible grace. Fostering healing. Well-being, fostering healing. Well-being, fostering healing. Well-being, fostering healing.
Why are we doing all this breathing, y'all?
Yeah, why are we doing all this breathing?
Y'all know why we breathe?
What?
The reason we breathe is that when we flood our body with oxygen, it activates our vagus nerve and it sends a message to our brain that we are calm, we are safe. That's why we breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's okay. IGF.
And that's what we do in IGF. We breathe.
IGF does that, but they don't know that.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know who IGF. Let's tell them the story.
Tell them the story. Drop it, man.
Now this is a story all about how a woman in the school, she got real loud. We'd like to take a minute, just sit right down. Let leadership tell you how we were found. Wait, you got catch me. You got catch me. In St. Paul, Minnesota, born and raised. Public school systems where we spent the most of our days. Stressed out, struggling, but acting all cool. It's maybe 300 kids won't graduate from school. Dr. Darlene, she was up to some good. Started making changes in her neighborhood. She got in one little fight because admin didn't care. She quit her job and said, I'm getting the heck out of there. She listened for me when it came near that you said we want a voice. If anything, I can say that this need was there, so we called Jan Mandell to the director's chair. I pulled up to the church because I had work to do, and I told all my friends, yo, you should come too. Look at our foundation, we are finally there. Create a safe space, health, wellness, self-care. Create a safe space, health, wellness, self-care. Create a safe space, health, wellness, self-care.
Thank you all. I'm Jan Mandell, Program Director of Irreducible Grace. You're going to see the program in 3 parts today. Part 1, they're going to define what resistance and resilience is. So look for the definition. Part 2, they're going to speak to their own personal experiences with that, their own traumas, dealing with the systems, where they feel it, and how they heal it. So look for that. In the last part, there'll be a very, very short panel where they'll talk a little bit about what resistance work they're doing in the community today. So I want you again to give us a 3, 2, 1 action. Again, this is all original material. Here we go. And 3, 2, 1, action.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance is Rosa Parks refusing to move to the back of the bus. Resistance is not allowing yourself to fall. Resistance is exposing what is unjust. Telling the president, no, we don't want to build a wall.
Resilience.
Resilience.
Resilience is building a business ran by us. It's an evolution. It's a representation for the next generation. Our new mindsets are to set a preparation. We lead our own destination. Individuals with dreams will never stop the journey of levitation.
Heavy is my blackness, mixed in with white and brown, constructed systems that make room for me and suffocate away other identities. My conflict is my identity and other people's resistance that lives in me. My conflict is through other people's resistance that lives in me, through fights that aren't mine and are in direct conflict with what I need, harmony. My resilience is smiling anyway, radiating joy through, not over the pain.
Resistance is the Black Panther Party. And see, I'm Fred Hampton resurrected, back to avenge my assassination. They may say I am reckless, but the truth is you can choose to snooze or choose to be aware. See, I choose to stay woke, so a form of my resistance is self-care.
Resilience. Stand taller after you've fallen down. Grandma left scrolls of wisdom should the world try you. Black songs and hymns still carry us through our sorrows. Resistance. Resistance is something I'm a little tired of having to be. I'm ready to chill, love, and travel. Why do I always have to arm myself for battle?
I must remain healthy.
I must remain healthy.
Physically,
Mentally, spiritually, and emotionally.
No longer will a system be controlling me, because with struggle comes strength.
With struggle comes strength.
Learn to persevere.
learn to persevere.
Walk with faith and face your fears.
Walk with faith and face your fears. Walk with faith and face your fears. Walk with faith and face your fears. Walk with faith and face your fears. I am powerful. I am uncommon. I am unpredictable. I am untamable. I come from a world where you are judged if you're black or white. And if you have the wrong color on, you get shot in plain sight. I come from a place where people are stuck in the constitutional mindset. I come from a place where every time I wake up, I thank God I made it through the night. Every time I hear a gunshot, my body's full of fright. Every time I feel the cold metal cuffs around my wrist, I think about the concrete bed, itchy cover, and food definitely not cooked from my mother. I feel alone. I feel misunderstood. I feel non-compatible and unwelcome because of how uncommon I am. So I remind myself of how powerful I am and my self-worth by using this breathing tool called the praying hands.
We all come from a historical line of trauma, and trauma lives within the nervous system. But breathing exercises and mindful body movements can shift it, and that is our power. I am resilient. I am resilient. Oh boy, I am resilient. I am young. I am creative. I am bright. And I am brilliant. I am fearless. So fearless, I'll run through a burning building. I am a prophet fulfilling a prophecy, and only death is capable of stopping me. See, I come from a historical bloodline of trauma, being raised in poverty by a single mama. I come from a place where if they see your face, they assume you are drama. They see me as a slave and not an Obama. See, every time I am stereotyped, I feel anger building up inside. People judge you from what they see, keeping negative stigmas in their minds. This can easily trigger me, creating mixed emotions at times. Swear the feeling is bittersweet, and the hatred should be a crime. But what is love without hate? And what is joy without pain? You may take the sunshine for granted if you never witnessed the rain. And still, we have to face what is real. Discrimination. Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, Emmett Till. In order to heal, I must control my ego. Take deep breaths to stop and think. Then I realized you can either complain or create a change. And I choose to be the change by any means.
I am Mariana. Bright and brave, black and beautiful, insecure and lost, and white and right, and Mexican enough, and American enough, and so what? I am just. I grew up in Rondo, but I also grew up on the west side, and downtown St. Paul, but I was born in Minneapolis, so let's just say I'm from Minnesota. I come from policing systems whose intent it was to target and capture, and then target and destroy the people that I come from. I come from a legacy of enslavement and a legacy of something else. I forgot. I come from inheriting systems made out of everyday people just trying to survive, separated, spoon-fed detachment and difference. In order to thrive, we do it alone and against each other. I come from resilience, like through it, not overcoming. Our family motto was, deal with it, however you deal with it. I come from innovative parents who got stuck, and really strong grandparents who are recovering from a life of privilege. I come from love. I come from the kind of resistance that is silent and understood and unacknowledged. My whole life, I've been counting along with a ticking face clock fallen from the white wall, red with blues. St. Paul Public School educated. In school, I was taught that slavery was bad, and that it's in the past, and that it matters. But this time is different. And separately, that police are here to help you. Then I found out that the policing system we know today derives from slave patrol practices, whose job it was to capture, control, and implement fear amongst enslaved people, chase down and apprehend and return to their owners runaway slaves, to provide a form of organized terror to deter slave revolts. I'm confused because there are people in our community who want to protect and serve the community. And the systems that we're using to train them are directly rooted in a practice of punishing Americanized black bodies who had the audacity to practice being free. I'm confused because the patrolling employees today, just doing their jobs, trying to feed their families, are perpetuating a system of destruction and hate and greed. It's 2019 and I, Miss Madi, am enough in line with the mission of this land of some free. Practice elitism like the world is yours. If you're tall enough to reach opportunity's doors. And for those of you scrounging around, still looking to survive and breathe and be found. Know that your place is there on the ground. That's where we come from. And me, I'm all mixed up in my multiple identities, countering and conflicting. My resilience is holding them all together. The practice of being me. I didn't always know that I could make room in my nervous system to honor my truth, but now I do. So to calm myself down, I breathe too, and I write.
Natalia Davis, a wife, a mother, a friend, and a lover. I come from a generation that is obsessed with social media. You get a glimpse of everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the rich, the poor, the happy, the sad. Unfortunately, you also get a glimpse of what it's like to be a black man in America. Every time a black man is shot, I'm traumatized all over again. I think about I'm raising a black son. Y'all, I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my chest. Oh, my chest is so heavy. How I heal it? I hum. Resma taught us that trauma lives in the nervous system and humming makes room for it. So I hum. I hum because my ancestors hummed. I hum so the anxiety don't take over my body. I hum so the MS doesn't take over me. I teach my son to hum and to breathe so that when he is stopped by the police, he will return home to his mom.
I am a manifestation of all my ancestors' prayers. Their herbs picked from the garden, minced and stirred into the richest dish, grown and produced this fruit to nourish others, yet ground and bruised from a poisoned world. I come from warm arms wrapped around me after police entered the home of this 13-year-old girl who was alone. Mama's eyes looked into mine, troubled with the same fear I felt while she was away at work. Every time I'm asked to speak about my resilience, I'm traumatized all over again. In order for me to explain my resilience, I have to conjure up what caused me to be resilient in the first place. Where I feel it is heartbreak after dismissal, unable to clear a background check working with children for actions made when I was a child. I feel it after working tirelessly for an expungement of a juvenile record when successfully getting off probation was supposed to be my credit. How I heal is remembering I overcame it all. Resilience.
Trauma's an injustice to the body and the mind. But we can heal.
Trauma's an injustice to the body and the mind.
Body and the mind.
But we can heal. Trauma's an injustice to the body and the mind.
Body and the mind.
But we can heal. Trauma's an injustice to the body and the mind.
Body and the mind.
But we can heal. Trauma's an injustice to the body and the mind.
Body and the mind.
But we can heal.
So we're going to ask you to just find a partner in a minute and talk about what stood out for you. But I want you to listen to one more section. And this very last section is they're going to talk about where it is they're doing resistance in their life now. And then we're going to ask you to turn and talk to each other and then give some feedback or ask some questions, having an open time for everybody. So starting with Louis, resistance.
My name is Louis McCaleb, aka Louis Blaze. I am an entrepreneur, an entertainer, and an educator. And the form of my resistance is me and my brothers just launched the social media campaign titled N4 that is directed to changing the narrative for African American males.
Hello
everyone. My name is Mariana Morgan Sawyer. I'm an artist in the community, and I also utilize my school and systems endorsed administrative skills to work for a couple of nonprofits in the community.
Hi everybody, my name is Asia Marie. I'm a creative. I'm a youth justice advocate in Dakota County and Ramsey County, working towards ending youth incarceration, creating alternatives, and incorporating the arts.
Hello everybody, I'm Dominique White, better known as Levi. I'm a photographer, a landscaper, and a mechanic, and I actually own my own business, IWD, Individuals with Dreams. Actually, remember right here, and remember right here. We're actually trying to open the minds of the younger youth and make them have a new mindset and become entrepreneurs of their own.
Hello everyone, my name is Diana. I'm an early childhood education teacher. I'm an entrepreneur, and also I'm opening up my own child care center right here in St. Paul called Cares and Cuddles.
Hi, I'm Natalia Davis. My #1 job is being a mom, but I'm also the artistic director for Irreducible Grace. So I have committed to learning these mind-body practices and creating workshops and programs so that the youth can continue to have a platform and go out in the community and teach all these things.
And again, I'm Jan Mandell, the Program Director of Irreducible Grace. We run 3 kinds of programming. One is Fostering Voice, where we go out in the community, foster voice of youth, and also bring the voice of young people into systems that are designed to serve them. We do health and wellness, healing from trauma work as well. We've been working on that the last 2 years, and that interfaces with racial equity work. And finally, we do handcuffs to handshakes. We do work with the police. We're right now working with the Western Division and creating workshops with the police that we heal together. We're going to ask you to turn and talk. What I want you to think about is what stood out about what you saw, a particular moment, or a question you have for them.
My question is to you, to anyone who wants to answer. What was your turning point from perhaps having a lot of anger and turning it into the positive direction? Because working with a lot of kids that are very angry, how did you turn that anger into something positive instead of something negative?
Could you say what you do or what your job is here?
I work in admin, but with children's services.
Okay, that's helpful for us to know.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and answer that question. So my turning point, it's funny because in our lifetime, when we're going through life and we're experiencing different things, God, He always He gives us the whisper at first, right? He gives us the little whisper. That's like the first one. Then after the whisper, He give you the little knock, right? Then you don't pay attention to the knock. And then all of a sudden, it's like a baseball bat to a pinata. It's like boom. So it's like that final crash. And for me, that point was actually catching a case, being around the wrong people, and I found myself in JDC at the age of 16. And they tried to try me as an adult and send me to prison. So when I got that information, it popped in my mind right away like, whoa, really, you could be in prison doing the things that you're doing. You know, and then I thought about my little brothers, I thought about my future and everything. I was like, I won't be able to graduate. I thought about all these things. So really, it was just that time for me to lose my psychic pants and reboot who I am and find my self-worth. And that was my turning point, JDC.
Okay. To answer that question, for me, from my experience, it wasn't a matter of anger, it was a matter of not being understood, especially if we're talking about adolescents. And so for me, it was the right person to come into my life to understand my cry-outs, you know, because it wasn't really people in my household. Someone else who didn't really have that familiarity had to come into my life, give me certain tools, give me other ways to express myself, because it wasn't always verbally, it wasn't even always physically. I just didn't have those words in my vocabulary at that point, especially as an adolescent. So when this person that came into my life, she gave me different other tools and ways to express myself and ways to push through the stress and through the traumas that I was experiencing.
I'd also just like to add that this helps, because I'm still angry. And doing this and having space to be angry and be creative and be with each other in that anger and do something about it, that's what it is for me.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you so much. Want to introduce yourself, what your job is here?
Hi, first off, I want to say I love the show. I had goosebumps the entire time. So my name is Mohammed. I work in the Law Enforcement Career Path Academy and with the St. Paul Police Department. I work under the community engagement unit. So my question was, St. Paul Police Department has been focusing on a lot of building trust with the community and trying to get like a relationship, way stronger relationship. And I just want to ask what kind of advice would you give to the department, because that's our goal. Our goal is to listen to the community and try to fix those issues that people of color will be facing.
I know, yeah, I got some advice, but yeah, most definitely. Just continue to do that. You say you've been in the community, just continue to do more, but keep it consistent though, you know, and be able to empathize with people, because everybody got a story to tell, you know. Don't nobody want to go to prison. Don't nobody want to be bad. You know, we got to understand that people come from a certain background, and a lot of these things, it's like an attack on our mindset, and a lot of actions, like other people, the impact of others influence our actions. And check out our handcuffs to handshakes. We just did handcuffs to handshakes with the St. Paul Police Department last Saturday. It's a workshop where we foster trust with each other. So yeah.
That's what I was going to invite you to. Our workshop, Handcuffs to Handshakes. It's amazing. We have been able to work with the police and teach them breathing tools. You know, you think we can't teach them anything, but it was amazing to hear them say, oh my God, I didn't think about it like that. Or maybe if I took a breath, or, you know, I would tell a person that I'm working with, hey, you know what, we're gonna start over, let's take a breath. And, you know, just to yeah, come and hang out with us. That's the way you can do it.
And I would also just add to hold people accountable. If it's wrong, it's wrong. So, I mean, I think obviously there is a big wedge between community and law enforcement, and it seems like new law enforcement is trying to weed that out and really build true, authentic trust between the community and law enforcement. So I think law enforcement have, or police officers have a duty to hold their other colleagues accountable. If it's wrong, you gotta call it out, period.
We'll give you an invite to our next event, okay? Thank you. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Nancy, and I work on a special project to help parents and other caregivers get more connected to early childhood resources. What I'd like to say is how wonderful this is. I met Louis last summer, and I've been listening to his podcast that just came out. And even for an older person, I think there's a lot to be learned from that, so I appreciate that. And really, my major question is, will you find a way to put together a little blurb about who you are and how we can support you, and get that back to our agency so they can get it out to us in the Ramsey newsletter?
I'll be really quick. I'm Melinda. I'm the manager of mid-choices and adult services. And so selfishly what stood out to me was, Talia, what you had to say. So no, your family, but I have a son, and so we do a lot of the deep breathing. But the humming is new. I didn't really realize the impact of humming, and connecting it back to our ancestors was just powerful. So if you guys hear me humming, I'm gonna be.
We want to acknowledge our drummer. Yes. So this is Matt Jarvie, who plays drums. We'll turn it back over.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just had an amazing experience. Please give a big round of applause. Okay, everyone, please stand up. Let's show a full appreciation for these outstanding young people. Yes, please take a blow. Well, I have to tell you that after having this experience, I feel like it's time for me to start preaching. So, how much time does everybody have? I'm gonna just say the thing that stood out for me is just how amazing, how beautiful, how talented, how just amazingly brilliant these young people are. They are the very best of America, and yet their stories kind of remind us of just how hazardous and how dangerous and torturous their life paths will be. And that's not because of anything that they have done or that they will do, but that there are these systems that will ensure that their lives will be filled with pitfalls and dangers. And we can stop that. All of us here at Ramsey County are committed to achieving racial equity, and I hope that we take inspiration from this performance and redouble our efforts. I certainly will. And I know Karen is going to come up and say a few more words, but before I do that, I want to also say, as I watched the performance, it reminded me of another bit of philosophy from Bob Marley, the Jamaican reggae star. If you're wondering, I'm Jamaican, so that's it's one of my favorite philosophers. And it says, it goes like, old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ship, minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hands were made strong by the hands of the Almighty. So we forward in this generation, these young people, triumphantly. All I ever had, redemption songs. Won't you help me sing redemption songs? Karen.
Thank you for allowing me to come back to say a couple words in closing. These are really exciting times here in Ramsey County right now. If you haven't heard, our county manager always talks about how change is the new constant. Change for the better, change that will impact us as Black people in a very positive way, because as you saw a few minutes ago, we, especially our youth, are a resilient people. Together, we will resist the ways of the past, of the recent past, and the things that are still happening to us today that continue to hold us back. We will continue to stand, and our voices will be heard. We will impact the change that will make Black lives better, that will make Black lives matter, and we will participate. We must continue to participate and make sure that we are exercising our right to vote so that we can benefit from being residents and citizens of the wealthiest nation in the world. Thank you, and thanks for coming.